Good morning, peeps. Janie Cleaston here. Goeie genade. I wish you could... morning, crows. I wish you could smell the jasmine in this garden today. It is blossom. It's beautiful. Now, I just quickly want to address something. Pat sent me an email, and she wanted to know what my thread packs look like and what do they contain in the video. And I have done this before, so I'm just going to quickly do this before I start my video. Now, the reason why I sell my ribbons in a pre-packed, pack like this is because I just find it easier when people are beginning their journey and they never know what colors to buy and blah blah. So what I did is I just make them up all sort of so that they're going to look good. All your threads are going to look good. So this is the starter pack, and in each one of the thread packs you will get a combination of some 7, let me just move this out the way, you'll get 7 millimeter silk ribbons that will look glorious together. Then you will get some 4 millimeter silk ribbons, and there'll always be greens in there because you know me and greens. And then you will get some 2 millimeter silk ribbons. So that's your color pack. And then in that as well you will get some pearl number 8s, and then some twisted silks which are equivalent to a pearl number 12, and you can see that they're fine and they've got a little bit of shine on them. And then you will also get some beads and some sequins. Okay, so that's what the color packs look like. When you buy like a color like these beautiful purples and whatever, you will still get a combination of the the pearl number 8s and the twisted silks, but they'll all come in a color pack. However, when you just buy the silk ribbon on its own, so that's, for example, that's the 7 millimeter silk ribbon, so you won't get any of the cotton threads in that at all. So so there's 7 millimeters, there's 4 millimeters, and there's 2 millimeters, and also there's a pack of chameleon threads as well. Ooh, that looks pretty good, doesn't it, together? Anyway, I digress. So that's what the packs look like. Okay, so now we can get stitching. And today I am doing, well, let me put that out the way. Oh, I tell you what, that jasmine is just divine. All right, today I feel like doing a little bit of crazy quilting. I'm going to work from this book, and I might pull some, we'll see how this book actually, works together. Actually, I use all three. All right, so now what I'm going to do is there's a little stitch in here called, I think it's called a ruched ribbon garland. Let's have a look what I call it many things. Oh, there it is over there. It's the ruched silk ribbon garland. Now there's a few little tricks to this that obviously you can't put in a book because it's just too much for the brain. So let us play with this. Now, first of all, you're going to use a 7 millimeter silk ribbon, and it works best with the 7 millimeter as opposed to a thinner version of it. I'm going to use a slightly variegated silk ribbon. So I like a variegated silk ribbon only when it kind of looks a little, the variegation is a little bit more gentle than just bombing straight into a red. Does that make sense? And because I'm working with silk ribbon, I have to use my chenille needle, but I also, with this stitch, I need a single strand of stranded cotton, the same color kind of as that. The jasmine, as the breeze moves through the trees, through the jasmine, it's beautiful. So I'm going to just use this kind of color, single strand. I'm not sure where I am today. I've got to be this way. Okay. I still feel oddish. Yeah. Okay, so let's get stitching now. So remember, I need a single strand, and I use a very fine needle for this because you don't really want to ladder your silk ribbon. Okay, just pop a ring cutter on. I can hear my hand therapist saying, where is your splint? Where is your splint? Anyway, I'm going to ignore her for today because I just don't feel like going inside and getting it. Okay, so what I have is some stranded cotton, single strand, and also I have got some 7mm silk ribbon, and I'm only going to thread the one side, and I am not going to cut the silk ribbon. I'm going to leave her long. Well, not as long as this, but don't cut it because you can join this, but it's best if you don't. Okay, so here we go. Now, I don't really want this red on, so it's sacrilegious, I know, but I'm just going to lob it off, and it'll become an alt that I can use a little bit later. Right, so we're just going to thread the silk ribbon for now. Remember, I'm not going to cut it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work along this seam over here. Let's get rid of all these funny little bits of goeie genade, Jennifer. Very untidy. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to take the tip of the just the end bit, and I'm going to thread the ribbon through. I really have not done a good job of tidying the back up either. All right, so there you go. You see she's just popping through over there, and now I'm going to get my needle. I'm all over the place today, and I'm going to anchor this down at the back. Nice and firmly. And I'll just lob this off. Now, crazy quilting is just one of my first loves. I absolutely love it. All right, so there you go. Just remember, with crazy quilting, all your stitches begin and end. I don't know if you can see that perimeter line. If you follow my instructions in this book over here, you'll see that I talk about, let me just see if I can find it. Oh dear. You can see I talk about stitch that perimeter line of stitching, and I do it right at the end as well. I don't know if you can see it in the book. There's a, so that I know that all my embroidery needs to begin and end within that perimeter line of stitching. It's actually seriously important because you don't want to be losing all your stitches. Right, so there we go. And now I'm going to come. I'm not going to do the stitch straight and solid along that seam line. I'm just going to move it off a little bit. Where am I in this thing? And then I'm going to bring my ribbon through, my thread through my ribbon. Notice that this, I haven't pulled this tightly, but it also is not looped. That's very important. And now I'm going to do a series of gathering stitches along here. So I'm not going to keep them straight or even. I'm not really going to count. I'm just going to bomb along. But the most important part about this is I need to have my last stitch with my needle ending up underneath that ribbon. Can you see? And then I'm going to reinsert my needle right where that thread came up. Now, I know that it's very difficult to see because I'm using a very neutral thread. I'm going to reinsert my needle, and I'm simply going to pull this thread through and let this ribbon do its thing, and it forms like a little rosette there. Now the most important part about this whole procedure is at the back, always do a little couching stitch. Please, please, please don't forget about that, because if you do forget about it, this cute little rose is just going to be loose and unfortunate, badly unfortunate. Sometimes things are good unfortunate, but so once again, you see there's just a little bit of looseness, but I'm not forming a loop like that. Okay, and I'm just going to pull her through. A little bit of loftiness there. And then I'm going to do my next little bit of, where am I this thing? I'm going to do my next little bit of roses, making sure that the needle ends underneath, and then go back into exactly where my little DMC thread came back through and pull through. Let her do her thing within reason. There you go. Sorry, these threads are everywhere today. And then I'm going to, on the back, do my little holding stitch. Pull it quite tightly and then do my holding stitch. Okay. Another one. I'll come up over here. It's a little rainbow lorikeet. End up underneath, pull through, and then before you know it, I've got this cutest little ribbon. Oh, that's garden rose. I mean, Jennifer, get your words right. Now, truth be told, peeps, this does use, you see, I'm going to pull this thread quite tight at this point, and then I'm going to do my anchoring stitch. Please don't forget about this anchoring stitch. Now, it does use quite a lot of ribbon, but not more than, I know, it's not exorbitant amount, so it's worth actually doing. It's quite a strong sort of seam treatment, so just make sure that your thread that you're using, I'm really battling with my words today, the thread that you're using or the silk ribbon that you're using is more of a neutral color than sort of popping out and smashing you in your face. So just go a little bit more, gentler. Now this is landing up very zigzag, which kind of is a bit of a problem, because I would have liked it to have been more uneven, but that's how she's, that's how she wants to be this morning, so I'm going to let her be. I'm just going to let her be. And one more, I think, and then I'll show you how to end off, because you're not going to see that, I don't think, in the book. I'm not sure. I can't remember. There you go. Always end out with your needle underneath, and I'm going to pop her in. There she is. Pull this thread quite tight. Really secure that little ribbon garland, that little roost rose. Okay, so now I need to end this thread off. But remember, I haven't cut this ribbon. It's long and going on. So I don't necessarily want to distress her anymore by pulling it all the way through that fabric. So what I'll do is I'll just snip her off there, get rid of that thread, insert my needle to where I want her to go, hold her quite firmly, thread my needle, maybe sometimes with a little bit of difficulty, pull her through. There she is. Sorry, she's just not doing something weird. Then what happens is on the back I have got a little bit of something to anchor this down. Oh dear, let's thread this needle again. Now, it's very early in the morning for me to be doing such a, you know, I like to do a repetitive stitching in the mornings, but so be it. So now what happens is on this side we have got this little something over there which is very cute. However, I am still not, you know, all that happy with it. So what I might do is I might do an anchoring stitch to hold it down. Now, thankfully, in my little bag of tricks outside, otherwise I'd have to go inside, I have got some of the Razzle Dazzle. What is it called? I think it's called Dazzle. This color, this is a Sue Spargo one. This is a DZ1, 4120. It's great. It is so good. Okay, so now, because I'm using this Dazzle, I am going to use a chenille 22, because as you know, this Dazzle or Razzle or whatever it's called threads like a doorknob. I tell you what, it just, yeah. So now I'm going to add something cute. Well, I think it's cute, and I don't think I do this in the book, but on these little ones that are the little loops, you know, the little connecting things here that I've just done, I'm going to do a couching stitch and hold them in place. Now remember, couching is not necessarily a stitch. A stitch moves, whereas a couching, you just come up and then you grab something and then you go down in exactly the same place again. So that's a couching. So you're not really making a stitch. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the thread through, and it forms like gives it a little bit of a waist. So I'm going to come up over here. This ribbon is a little bit odd today. Come up there, cinch her in the waist with a little bit of metallic thread, and there you go. I can't find the right place today. And I pull her through. Be a good girl. Go where there you go. How is that? How pretty is that? That's what I love about why I love crazy quilting. It's just, you know, a crazy quilt has no purpose other than to just sit there and be beautiful. I just love it. What is going on behind here? Dear Jennifer. Sorry, hang on a minute. I've got all sorts of harnings on here. There you go. Come on, behave. Oh no, now I've pulled this too tight. Now there's no shine on there. Don't worry, I'll just go over her as though she wasn't there in the first place. Come up. Back down. Oh, there wasn't any glitter in there anyway. Morning, Karawang. You see, I think she looks much better with a little cinched in waist. Wearing her little, what do you call those things that pulled people's waists in, corset. And there you have. How cute and pretty is that? I bet you thought it was going to be all. So there you go. That was the ruched silk ribbon garland, and I gave it a cinched in waist. Okay. So now, because it's crazy quilting, we don't end there, do we? No, no, no. We're going to add some things to it. Now, let's see what I can add on. Have I? Oh, that's close. Oh, have I done a ruched ribbon garland in this book? Let's have a look. Let's just page through this quickly. I'm just going to have a look and see. I'm sure I have. Oh, I know where it is. I think it's in this one here. That little bag. Nope. Not in there. Is it? Oh, there it is there. You can see in the tea cozy over there I've done it, but I've used a much thicker thread. And then there she is over here. And I've added like little leaves. So let's do on the one side, let's add some lazy daisies, and then on the other side we'll pull out a stitch from this book and we'll do something different. Shall we do that? Okay, so I'm wondering if this is too thick to add. Let's see what happens if I keep this dazzle thread, because it's on. Let's add some little lazy daisies to her. This might have needed to have been a different color. Let's just begin, because as I said, I have it on hand. And I'm not going to make these little these lazy daisies too big. I'm repeating myself. That jasmine is just, you know, jasmine always comes out around about this time of year in October, in where I live in Sunshine Coast in Queensland. And October is my birthday. My birthday's in October. But not only that, I had a beautiful sister who took her own life, and she did that round about my birthday. And so the jasmine is bittersweet for me, because it always reminds me of her, and perhaps of the tough time she was going through just before. Oh, maybe I should have had a trigger warning on this video. You see, if you don't use the right needle with this dazzle stuff, you're going to get yourself in the poo, because as I said, she frays and she does all sorts of weird things. I'm actually going to get rid of her now, because she's really unhappy. Keep the thread quite short and then she'll be fine. What do you think so far? Sorry, I'm just working in a hoop that I don't normally, when I'm doing crazy quilting, I work on a hoop on a stand, so I can freeze up both my hands, and because I'm a stab stitcher, it works so well for me. But I just haven't been able to sort of figure out how to video me working without, you know, getting all carried away with equipment and everything, which I really don't want to do. if I make this videoing too complicated, I just won't do it. I won't video, I'll lose my joy. If I have to do anything that's what do you think of that cute little? I'm going to have to end this thread off because it's also deteriorating on me. One more little bit. See how she frays. Do you know who that is at the kitchen? That is the little, what do you call it? See, I'm having to swing this around because it's just so. That's the butcher bird, by the way, wanting its breakfast. Some more over here. And then my job here is done. Keep inside that stitched line, that perimeter line. I think I've been to the, I haven't been quite central today. Centered. I have a feeling in my bones. Okay. So that is the beginning of something quite, you see, I've given myself little gaps to add things and to move things and to have fun with that. Oh, okay. I don't know, I'm not so sure on that thread actually. I might unpluck that and just unpluck a little bit and just see what happens. But anyway, thank you so much for your time and bye for now.